Okay, Ben, here we are, representing Guinness, a Guinness ambassador. And what does that mean to you? And what does it mean for the tournament as a whole? Because it's not just people going to watch rugby, it's the experience of the whole entire day, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that it just shows what rugby's about as well. You know, Guinness are big on the mixture of their drink and the mixture of people in rugby. You know, you can go to a rugby match, enjoy a few Guinnesses, and sit 4 foot away from a hostile fan, but it's all in good banter and good fun, and that's what rugby is. We bring people together, all ages, and everyone can enjoy sort of the moment that it brings and the big occasion that these big games bring. And it's nothing better for me as a player than driving into the Twickenham stand and looking out of the window of the buses, and you see people eating picnics out of the back of the cars, and all the hot dog stands and all the beer stands, and it just shows that it's a massive occasion and such a great atmosphere for the game.
And perhaps even more so this time around, the 2012 Six Nations with a new coach at the helm. Is this the start of a new era?
Yeah, I think so. We like to hope so. It's sort of like a new slate, a new chance for us to sort of, put what happened behind us and move on, and that's what we want to do for first and foremost. Is with these young guys coming in, they'll be keen to show what they can do in an England shirt, and hopefully that will drive the rest of us who've been there for a while and got a certain amount of caps to sort of go on and kick it into a gear as well and progress ourselves as international players. So it is exciting times. I think that Stuart's been pretty open in what he expects from his players and the reasons for choosing all these young guys and these fresh faces, and in the fact that he wants to play this wide and expansive game, and as fans, I'm sure that'd be music to their ears, and as players like myself who enjoy counter-attacking football and getting the ball in the wide channels as much as possible, it's sort of like it's what I've been waiting to hear, really.
So you think that the new setup is going to suit the way that Ben Foden plays rugby?
If I'm lucky enough to be selected in the squad, yeah. But I think definitely, he's expressed the will to sort of, throw the ball around and play these games, and we've seen that it worked. It's worked for sides like New Zealand and Australia and the Southern Hemisphere sides, and even to the extent like France and Wales. The way some of they performed in some of the World Cup games, it shows that the wide, expansive game is what works at the moment. So it's definitely music to my ears, and if I'm lucky enough to be selected, hopefully I'll fit into that groove and be able to show what I can do to Stuart and the rest of the England boys.
There are 9 uncapped players in the initial elite players squad, and a certain Mike Brown of Harlequins. I've been reading that he's quite keen to take your position.
Yeah, he obviously is. He's been outstanding this year so far. Mike's been involved with the England setup before and had a few caps, and so he knows what it's about. And obviously, as a player, he's quite a young guy in terms of performing at the international level. So he's keen to get out there and show what he can do. And he's been performing excellently for Harlequins, and it justifies his selection in the squad. And for me, it's just a wake up call that there's someone breathing down your neck, and it just shows that you got to be on your toes at all times. Otherwise, someone will come and steal the shirt away from you. But hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, I'll perform well enough to show the reason why I've been selected in the squad, and then when we get down to, I think we're going up to Headingley, I can show what I can do there in the training camps and justify a selection.
We don't want to go backwards and talk about what happened at the Rugby World Cup. That's all been pretty well covered and well documented. But how important is it that you, being a senior player, that you show a sense of responsibility to the younger players coming into the squad?
Yeah, obviously with players leaving and retiring and being left out of selection, it does leave that hole for leaders to step into. But I think that, like you mentioned, someone told me that I was the most capped a back three in the squad, so that does put a certain degree of leadership responsibilities on my shoulders, that by my experience I need to show these young guys how it's done and what it takes to sort of play international rugby. And so hopefully I'll take that on, and it's something that I've learned through being involved at Northampton as well. When moving there freshly, I was sort of like a fresh face and was looking up to the guys like Bruce Rehana, who had been involved in the squad for a while, and now he's moved on. I've sort of had to fill that void at Northampton, and so it has happened at international level, and that's only natural. But I think with guys like Tom Croft, who's been on Lions tours, been to World Cups, Toby Flood, who's played in World Cup finals and got all these caps, we've got the guys who are capable of filling those shoes and becoming leaders, and I think they're natural leaders as well. And I think it's just a natural progression in any team that these guys, eventually the time comes when they have to step up and fill those voids.
The mantra from the new coaching team, Stuart Lancaster and Graham Rowntree, seems to be don't play with fear. Is that something that perhaps, that's obviously a very good policy and a good theory to follow through. Is it something perhaps though that we shouldn't expect too much from England straight away, because there are a lot of new young players and perhaps they are going to make mistakes, and perhaps it may take a while for results to chalk up on the board?
I think that, yeah, obviously, a lot of people are going to be looking at the England squad and looking at performances rather than results. But I know for a fact that the guys who are going to be at camp, are going to be there for one job, and the one job is to go and win a Six Nations. And sometimes you have to win ugly due to the elements or due to the team you're playing, or sometimes you just got to grind out a win, because that's what's happened. And obviously, every game we'd like to go out there and score 50 odd points, but in realistic terms, sometimes that's just not possible. And it just shows that you can play that attractive style of rugby, but you can also play a different style of rugby that people appreciate as well, and it's not a bad thing to be able to have those tactics as well. And I think that with Stuart's selection in the squad, that we have players who are capable of winning games in a numerous way. And obviously, first and foremost, we want to play wide, expansive game and score tries and do what everyone wants to see in the stands. But I think that as an England supporter, we just want to see a victorious England, a team that can win and win well in any occasion, any conditions, any environment. And so that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is seeing the maturity of, like you said, the guys who are stepping up into those leadership roles and sort of reining in the young youth guys who want to run rabbit and throw the ball around. We've got to have sort of that balance, and that's what will make a successful England team, I think.
You say that you want to win in any environment, and they don't come much tougher than Murrayfield.
Yeah.
What a way to kick off the Six Nations for England.
Yeah, and I think that we haven't won there for a while in the away fixtures, so it is a massive game. And obviously, a piece of silverware's up for grabs as well, the Calcutta Cup, and hopefully everyone has sort of realised that and buy into the fact that it's going to be a massive start to the competition. And if we can get that vital away win, hopefully it'll set the ball rolling for us, and then we can sort of take each game as it comes. But I'm sure that there'll be massive focus on that first game against Scotland and running out there. And for the guys who haven't played for England before, it'd be a massive occasion for them, and what a way to be introduced to the game. Just
finally from me, if we can just move to club matters, Northampton, it's been a bit of a mixed season, not so great in the Heineken Cup, but very strong in the league. What do you put the different performance in the competitions down to?
Well, I think if you've watched the Heineken Cup games that we fell short on, that sort of set us off to that bad start, it literally is a game of inches in Heineken Cup rugby. I think that 43 phases and a drop goal from Ronan O'Gara from 45 metres out sort of summed up that game. It was really on a knife edge, and to some sort of degree I think that we thought we had it in the bag, and obviously a bit of magic play from him, it sealed the game off for them. And it's a massive turn from an away win in Munster, sort of that momentum and that stride in our step was sort of deflated. Then we played Scarlets at home. I couldn't play the game. I pulled out 10 minutes before we ran out to warm up, and then literally I think 4 errors sort of cost us massively in that game. And Scarlets are a great side, and they pounce on your mistakes, and they put us to the sword and managed to get 5 points from us that game. So it was all, it runs in circles though. Last year in the Heineken Cup we'd won 9.5 games, and for 40 minutes of rugby we slacked off, and we didn't manage to take the trophy home. So just swinging roundabouts. But I think that in some sort of way it's sort of enabled us to be fresh-faced, and thing is we can just solely focus on the Premiership now. And I think that's what we've tried to take from it as well, knowing that the Heineken Cup was sort of dead and buried for us after that Cast defeat, so we could sort of focus all our energy on the Premiership and getting into the top 4.